Okay, so first one is for vertical angles. And vertical angles are congruent.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are vertical angles? The V kind of is the starting point. If you draw a V and another V, these are vertical angles.
Yes, correct.
If you go sideways V, like the fish mouth,
Those
like
are
you're pissing, those are also vertical. They actually make an X.
wait, those are vertical, the Y and Y?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes. They do. It doesn't matter whether it's up and down or left and
Yeah, I
right.
thought it had to be up and down for a little bit.
So those are all. So Y and Y are vertical, X and X are vertical, and they're always congruent.
Okay.
They're always congruent. So that leads to like, if I were in a classroom, I would put this somewhere. It wouldn't be very elegant, but I would say there's two things you're doing in geometry. You're setting you're setting equal.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know what to do, you're setting them equal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you have this in a problem on there, but what I don't see is your work to solve this. And you
Yeah,
do have to be
that's
able to
the
solve.
thing that I'm kind of confused about is solving it, but sketching it and explaining it, I'm pretty confident in. It's just solving it is what's kind of confusing to me.
That's fine here. So this is called a multi-step equation. You don't need to know that, but you need to know how to solve a multi-step equation. There are like three things you do to solve a multi-step equation. The one that matters here is you have to move the variable smaller to the larger.
Okay.
And you're like, what does that even mean? It's not really written well, but smaller is over here on a number line, larger is over here on the right. So between 2 and 3, which is smaller, which is larger?
Two is obviously smaller, three is
Right.
larger.
Sometimes you got to make the number line to make sure you're going to subtract 2x from both sides. That's what I mean by move the smaller to the larger.
Okay.
This becomes x plus 4 equals 10. How do you solve this from here?
Let me get this down. Hold on. I don't feel like we were doing this in class, but
It's assumed that you know how to solve these, which you know
okay.
what assumptions
Would
do.
you just subtract the four, right?
Right. Yep.
And you get x equals 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, got to be really careful here. Another thing, it's like there's all these little like subcategories. There's another thing that happens a lot in geometry. One is you're asked to solve for x. Then you're also asked to use x to determine, and it could be a length or an angle or something else. Like x is sometimes the answer. Like you're used to being done with x when you had in a previous course.
Yeah.
You get x, you're done. Here, sometimes you have to use x. It's kind of like solving systems. You get one variable, you need it to solve the other.
No, we just solved for x because I had a quiz today and we were just solving for x. So
You will be solving for other stuff though,
yeah.
and we'll
Okay.
see that here in time.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do another problem like this one. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Okay, the angle, the angle ABC, and it's a path A to B to C,
Mhm.
is congruent to angle. What other angle is it congruent to by vertical angles? What's the three letters?
The angles A, B, and C. Well, it would be A, B, E, and D. Or
Okay,
else,
so you got to be really careful here. The middle letter is always the vertex. The way that you describe this to me, E is the vertex, but it needs to be B that's the vertex.
yeah. So when I just say it's B, E, and D.
You have to give the order. So when you say BED, it means that E is the vertex.
Oh, okay. So
And
E.
that EBD. It's a small thing, but it's really important.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. All right. So now this means that 8n is equal to 9n minus 5.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now this is another multi-step equation. You move from the smaller to the larger. So do you subtract 8n or do you subtract 9n?
Uh, 5 because it's smaller, right?
Neither. 5 is irrelevant. Look at the variables.
Oh,
8n and 9n. Do you subtract 8n or subtract 9n? Which,
eight.
yes, you move from the smaller to the larger. Now, in this case, you get 0 on the left, which isn't great, but that's okay. And
Okay.
then how do you undo subtraction by 5?
Adding by 5.
Adding by 5. So your final answer is n equals
5.
5.
Okay, here, let
Now,
me.
now it is not the case. It is not the case that you always get variables on both sides. Okay. We're going to look at these are actually slightly
And
easier than
I
the
have
ones
a
we.
question.
Yep.
Can you scroll back up?
Yep.
Why would you start subtracting 8? Like,
8n.
like
8n.
instead of 5, -5.
You want to isolate the variable first. You want to get the variables all on one side.
Okay.
It's so it's you could draw an analogy to real life. It's like I just did a move. It's like you move the big furniture first
Yeah.
and then the little stuff
And
last.
you add 5 also because you
Yes,
want to get 0 or you want to get n equals 5, or are
that's
you
right.
not allowed to have negatives?
You need to have it as n equals 5.
Okay.
I mean, it's really 5 equals n, but then you rewrite it as n equals 5.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so new problem here. Why are these vertical angles? Why is 152 and W plus 73 vertical angles?
What do I think about the angles?
Why are they vertical? What makes them vertical here?
That they're equivalent. Or
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. So if you don't take anything else away from today's lesson, it should be that vertical angles are
Equivalent, yeah.
congruent.
Congruent, yeah.
So you're setting up this equation. Would you solve this for W, please?
Yeah.
You're welcome to use a calculator. I'm not anti-calculator.
Okay. I have a question for my test today. So say you have -7 minus negative uh 3. What would that
This
equal? You
this is
add
what you
each of them
now,
in the positive? Yeah, yeah.
this is what you just said, just to make sure. This becomes -7 plus 3. The double negative always becomes a plus, which is -4.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I was just wondering
By your
about
reaction, sounds like you didn't do this.
nah.
Yeah.
I was very confused on that because it was one of the parts to my problems because we were doing slope form. And I set it up good and everything, and I had the bottom answer right, but I wasn't exactly sure, so I just kind of was like, and I didn't bring a calculator with me, so if I used a calculator, I'm sure it would have been -4, it would have told me, but I just added them together.
Okay.
But
Are you allowed to use a calculator in class?
I am allowed to use a calculator. I just forgot to bring it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big
Yeah,
miss
that was
there.
my mistake there.
Yeah.
I was like thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like I remember you telling me that it was like adding, but I wasn't so sure. It was just I don't know. I kind of double think whenever I like write an answer. I don't really go with my gut sometimes. I don't know why, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you can always ask your teacher. Sometimes it's just like I did, you can get them to answer your question without them answering it.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so can you solve this equation for me, please?
When I should start off by subtracting 152.
Your variable is already on one side of the equation, so your focus is just on the right side, just on the right.
So okay, subtracting 73
Yes.
and subtracting 73 from 152 as well, right?
Yeah, from both sides.
Okay. Okay, so 79 equals W.
W equals 79. Very good.
Okay.
Right. So we got another question here. You'll see the pattern here. These are called, sorry, these are not, that's not the one I wanted. Apologies. Okay. That's not right either. All right, so here's another question. What type of angles are these?
Uh, hmm. Are they vertical?
Yes. Why are you unsure about them? Because they're side to side.
Yeah, they're. I mean, yeah. It was just because one line was longer than the other, it kind of threw me off. But no,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
I see
it's
now
you
they're
gotta look at
both.
this X and I don't know, it's the top and bottom, left and right. You gotta
I can see
somehow
it. I was just at first I was unsure because I thought you were throwing like a curveball at me or something.
not yet. Not yet. So that's what I meant. That's what I meant for the 80% rule, 80-20 rule. I'm trying to give you as many problems in a row that are the same so that you always
Yeah.
know that
Okay.
they're this.
Okay. So
So
yeah, vertical lines.
so we're gonna set these equal 105 equals 2x minus 11.
Okay.
Look at the side with the variable. So you don't care about that side. 2x minus 11.
Okay.
All right. And then what do you undo first? Multiplication, division, or addition and subtraction?
I added 11.
Good.
Okay.
Add 11 to both sides. So 116 equals 2x.
Then for
And what from here?
divide two.
Divide by 2. So what does x equal?
Here I can calculate it. X equals 58 or 58 equals X.
Good. All right. Very good. Let's look at one more of these. You're doing great. You got to be able to solve these equations, which is what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right, 56 here. This arrow is pointing to the fact that I'm giving you the angle over here, the angle CBA. 12P is angle DBE.
Yeah.
What kind of angles are those?
E or which one?
Well, what have we been doing the entire time? Like trying to get you to just reiterate what kind of angles are CBA and DBE?
They're just congruent angles to each other.
Why are they congruent?
Because they're they're both vertical angles. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Even if you don't believe it, you still got to just force yourself to say it. So you set the two equations equal,
Yeah.
and then this time you've got variables on both sides. This is when you have to move from the smaller to the larger
Okay. So would I start off subtracting 5?
P. It's important that you recognize it's the whole thing, even if you only say the number, it's the whole thing. All right,
Okay.
so this is 28 equals 7P. What does the value of P?
Wait. What's the value of P?
Yeah, how do you solve for P here?
You you divide 7, or that doesn't go
Yep,
in. Does it
yep.
go? Yeah. Okay.
Use that calculator, even if it's your phone. Like they
Okay.
wouldn't even let you use your phone in the class.
Oh no, no.
I mean, you could try, right? Just have it out just in case.
Yeah, they probably like take my test or something.
Okay, we'll be discreet about it.
Okay. All right, so 4 equals P.
Yes, very good. Okay, so that covers our lesson on for vertical angles. The next thing on the page that you sent me are a linear pair. Linear pair. Any idea what that means?
I'm not like sure by the definition of it, but it just sounds like the two pairs of like lines or angles.
So the angles add up to 180, 180 degrees. So I said that there's two types of problems you see in this course. One is they are you set them equal.
Oh, okay. Wait. So I do
The
know.
second,
It's
okay,
two. It's like two L's, right? Is with that
two
like
angles, but they add up to
two
180.
angles that are 90 degrees?
They don't have to be 9 degrees though, because more than two angles can add up to 90 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So the two types of problems you'll see in this course where you set them equal. That's what we've been doing over and over again. The second is they add up to something.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's look at an example here. Example. This is a line.
Yes.
This angle on the right and this angle on the left, they form a linear pair. Now this is not to scale, but call this 3x plus 4. Uh, yeah, I guess. And then this one is 2x plus 16.
Okay.
So these two angles make a linear pair. That means they add up to 180.
Hmm.
So it's like this: angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. And instead of angle 1, you're going to put in 2x plus 16, 3x plus 4 for angle 2, and this equals
180.
180.
But would if I did like two angles that were just like 90, would that also work?
Sure, but it's more general. I mean, more general is we don't know. Like it could be that one's 100 and one's 80, or one
Yeah.
is 65 and one is 115,
Yeah.
or any combination thereof.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now this is a problem you saw in algebra. The strategy here is to combine like terms
Okay.
first. So like 2x plus 3x, what does that become?
5x.
What is 16 plus 4?
20.
Okay, now look at the side with the variable. What do you undo first?
5.
Nope.
Uh, 180.
Look at the side with the variable.
Yeah, 5, right?
You undo addition and subtraction before multiplication and division.
Oh, so 20.
Okay, so how do you undo it?
Subtracting 20.
Subtract 20 from both sides.
Yeah.
5x equals 160. What do you do to solve for x?
Then you divide 5.
Divide by 5. Okay, go ahead and do that for me. What you come up with.
Gotcha. 32, so x equals 32.
Very good. All right, let's look at another one here, another example here. Here's your line. And let's say that this is x, and this is 6x plus 19.
Can I
You're
just try to
supposed
get
to,
the final answer on this, or
what's that? What's
can I
that?
just try to get this final answer?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Do you have to give me one more on the other side too?
No, these are form a linear pair. So they add up to, what do these two add up to if they're a linear pair?
180.
180.
Okay,
So the 6x plus 19 plus the x.
got it.
So go ahead and try solving it from here, please.
would it just be x equals 13?
Okay, that is correct. We got time for one more here. Let's do another example.
Okay.
It's 78 degrees and then 5y plus 2. So I'm trying to show you that the orientation doesn't matter, which way it's going, up, down, left, right. If you
Yeah,
see two angles on a line, what do they add up to?
180.
180. So 78 plus 5y plus 2 equals
180.
180. So go ahead and try solving this for y, please.
Okay. I have one question. Would we start with 2, subtracting 2?
Sure.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
use. Okay, just making sure.
All right. We are pretty much out of time here, so I'm going to jump in here.
It's y
Y
equals 100 divided
should
by
be
5.
20.
What is it? Yeah, okay.
20. All right. We do have to stop here. I know these go quickly. As a reminder,